I wanted to start out in the shower.
Okay.
A lot of people have great thoughts in the shower, have great thoughts when they're running or actually not at their desks or not at work. So my question to you is, what's the best way that organizations, and here we have represented some of the biggest companies, most important companies in the US, how can they have a shower moment for their companies?
Okay, that's a great question to start with. First of all, thank you very much for the chance to join this group.
So happy to have you here.
I'm really glad to be able to have this conversation. How do you have it? Well, I think having the shower moment isn't the hard part, right? Because most of us shower frequently. The question is then what? How do you start doing something with it? And there are going to be lots of answers to that. Our agency was created out of a desire for the Defense Department to have a way to go do those things that happen when you're outside the frame of your normal existence. And our example, I think, is one that has worked very well for 6 decades through periods of great changes in geopolitics and technology. But I think it's only part of this much larger ecosystem of what.
But do you think that large companies can innovate? I mean, companies, if you read their conference calls, the transcripts, they say innovate, innovation, innovate, innovate, innovate. But I think perhaps deep down they think they are not doing it. So what's your best sort of guidance or advice for a large organization, thousands or tens of thousands of employees?
Well, look, I think that's just too oversimplified to say large companies can't innovate. The half of my professional life that I spent in the private sector was spent in Silicon Valley, most of that in venture capital, and certainly the ethic there is that innovation happens in small companies. And I think that's a hugely important part of the ecosystem. There are things that large organizations can do that no one else can do. And I think that is, playing to those advantages is really key. At the moment, I'm part of one of the largest organizations on the planet in the form of the Defense Department, with the numbers of people and the number of dollars that we operate with. It's a scale that's really off the charts, and we could not do what we do at DARPA if we weren't part of a large organization. And here's why. So if you think in the Defense Department, we invest about $70 billion a year, plus or minus, on research and development, test and evaluation. As with any company as well, most of that goes into product development, building specific weapon systems for things that we know that we need. A small slice of that is science and technology, or probably what would be called basic research in a company context. DARPA's even a smaller slice of that, but that small slice of that large total amounts to $2.9 billion a year, from which we can build at DARPA and do continually build a robust portfolio of, at any moment in time, a couple of hundred projects, each one of which has the potential to do something that's off scale in terms of national security outcomes, none of which are things that we already know we need, right? I mean, they're designed to think outside that box. We wouldn't be able to have that kind of scope and scale if we were part of a smaller organization.